Let the record reflect that Tiffany David is not present. Brian Shaquis.
Present.
Stephen Graham. Let the record reflect that Stephen Graham is not present. Michael Cuevas. Let the record reflect that Michael Cuevas is not present. David Felton.
Present.
Mac Ross.
Present. Okay, thank you. Let's see, you have minutes from the February meeting. Does anybody have any comments on those? Or would like to make a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Okay, second?
Second.
In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries. Minutes are approved from February 13th. Item 3, report from City Urban Designer.
Good morning, Ana Maria Ponte, City Urban Designer. I have an announcement to make today. Last February 25th of this year, staff attended the Safe Street Summit that was held in Miami. It's a summit that is organized by all the metropolitan planning organizations for Miami, Broward, and Palm Beach. And it's done in a different location every year. Last year it was hosted in the city of West Palm Beach. This year is Miami's turn. At that summit, they grant some awards. And this year, I am very pleased to say that the Clematis Streetscape project was awarded with the People's Choice Award for Best Complete Street Project. We are, of course, very happy with the project and excited about moving forward with the phase 2 of this project, and then the following year, phase 3. But I wanted to let you know that that was awarded this year and recognized by people that won a good example of complete street.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Great job. Nice work.
Wow, it's real.
All right. Good job. Nice work.
Yeah.
That's all I have for this morning.
Okay, super. Thank you. Skip by remarks as well. We'll get to item 5, declaration of ex parte communication. Anyone, anything to declare? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to 6, public hearing swearing in. So, anyone that needs to be sworn in today presenting testimony on the case?
Do you swear from the testimony you're going to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Good, thanks. And when you do, kindly state your name and address when you get up and speak. So, good. Today's case, number 19-02, request by Nadir Soler on behalf of CRVW West Palm Beach, UCal. All right, we'll go ahead and hear staff's presentation on this one. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, Elizabeth Levesque, Urban Design Planner for the record. This is case DAC 1902 for demolition of vacant structures, Lofton Place, Phase 2. This is a request by Nadir Soler on behalf of CRV WPB UCal LP for the DAC review and recommendation of approval for the proposed demolition of 2 vacant structures located at 375 Eucalyptus Street, according to Section 94-107C of the Zoning and Land Development Regulations. The location of 375 Eucalyptus Street is generally bound by North Dixie Highway to the west, North Olive Avenue is to the east, but there's other properties in between. 8th Street to the north and Eucalyptus Street to the south. And the Lofton Place building that has been built is to the south of this property. The zoning designation is split zoning of LD4 and LD10, it's Lofton District. LD4 allows for 4 stories and LD10 allows for 10 stories. So a little background on the site. The Lofton Place project received site plan approval on June 3rd, 2014. The project was approved as a 2-phase apartment project. Phase 1 was approved for 259 units, and Phase 2 was approved for 204 units, with an additional approximately 8,000 square feet of retail space. The total project size is 4.71 acres and includes an abandoned portion of 7th Street. So Phase 1 and Phase 2 will be connected with a pedestrian bridge over Eucalyptus Street once Phase 2 is constructed. Since approval, only Phase 1 has been constructed, and both portions of Phase 2 remain unbuilt. So this is a site plan view of the Lofton Place. Again, it's a 2-phase apartment project. Phase 1 is Parcel A, that's the built portion of the project. Phase 2 contains both Parcel B and Parcel C. Parcel C is the subject property for this case. And building permits for Phase 1 were issued in 2014. So the site is currently vacant. The subject parcel, parcel C, is currently vacant except for 2 vacant buildings. Phase 1, you can see, is to the south of the property. To the east are 2-story residential buildings, Dixie Highway, and 1 to 2 2-story commercial structures are to the west, and to the north is a gas station and vacant land. So on the site, there's a smaller 1,200 square foot building that once served as a convenience store, an approximately 3,000 square foot vacant structure which served as a Palm Beach County Health Office. The smaller of the building was a temporary leasing office for Phase 1 until the leasing office moved into the Phase 1 building. And there are also 2 parking areas on site associated with these buildings. So over the years, the site has been subject to various code enforcement division violations, particularly with regard to vandalism and spray paint. In 2016, the property owner was notified of violations which included excessive growth of weeds and grass and graffiti on the property, and the owner did comply within 10 days of notice. 2 years later, in 2018, another violation was sent out for graffiti on the property. In this case, the owner did not comply, and the case was then presented to the City of West Palm Beach Special Magistrate on December 5th, 2018. On December 5th, the Special Magistrate findings of fact found the owner and representative of the owner did not show up to the hearing. The findings of fact gave the owner 3 days to comply with the violation, graffiti on the property, but the owner did not comply, so the city did have to send out the graffiti eradicator. And because the property owner did not comply with 3 days in the special magistrate order, the property was declared a chronic nuisance. So on December 19th, an official declaration of chronic nuisance was sent to the owner, and the owner had to write up an action plan and submit to the city. The property owner is requesting demolition of these buildings in response to the various code violations and the constant graffiti and vandalism. They've found that no matter how many times they eradicate and paint over the graffiti, it just keeps coming back, and they're trying to keep up, but it's just constant issues on site. So current regulations, section 94-107, states that existing buildings in the downtown master plan area may not be destroyed or removed unless they are to be replaced, and only after a building permit, which affects the vertical construction for the new building, has been obtained. So again, as the subject property is phase 2 of the Lofton project, and it was shown on the site plan for the 2014 building permit when the phase 1 was constructed, the 2 vacant structures could have been demolished at this time, but they were not. So as it's been 4 years, we are now bringing this to you, and they're subject to DAC demolition review. There are certain demolition standards that are in the code, in the DMP code. I'll just generally go over them. The 6 standards, there needs to exist a significant hardship to rehabilitate and reuse the structure. The demolition will not cause significant harm to the public interest due to lack of architectural historic significance. The structure does not maintain the scale and massing of adjacent structures, and it lacks prominence. The reuse is inconsistent with the goals of the district, and the removal of the structure will enhance the public safety, health, and welfare of downtown residents and visitors, and then due to the structure's condition, it would be impractical to board and secure the structure. And if the demolition request does not satisfy each of the standards, the request shall be denied. So staff analyzed each of the demolition standards as outlined more detailed in the staff report. But generally, staff did find that although there is no current schedule for the phase 2 construction, the buildings are slated for future demolition. There's no intention for rehab or reuse of these buildings. Neither of them are historically or architecturally significant. They're both 1-story structures, as you can see here, and their small massing does not meet the intention of the Lofton district of the 4-story and 10 stories that are allowed in this district. And although the structures have been boarded, they are consistently vandalized. and the site is vandalized. So staff does support demolition of the buildings to remove the visual eyesore in the neighborhood and enhance the public safety, health, and welfare. Staff is recommending conditions. We're recommending that the property owner shall repair the sod on the property where the vacant buildings are removed, as well as any affected surrounding areas. The parking areas, if remaining, shall be resurfaced and restriped to meet current code standards, and the parking on site shall be monitored and maintained by the property owner. And if removed, the areas shall be repaired with new sod. And 3, the owner shall maintain the site, including removal of debris, maintenance of overgrowth and weeds, and kept in clean and sanitary conditions at all time, which is expected and the maintenance, but just to reemphasize that and be on board with the code enforcement department and partner with them to make sure that the site is kept in good condition. So with that, staff is recommending approval for the demolition of the 2 vacant structures with the aforementioned conditions. And the applicant is here and would like to speak? Sure.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good morning. For the record, Nader Salor, representing the property owner, 1907 Commerce Lane, Jupiter. Firstly, just to clarify on non-responsiveness, because that's not in our style, and I think the city will back us up. We had an unusual circumstance where the notices were sent to our Texas office, and that has shown a flaw in our management information, because none of that was sent to us, which I never knew it, frankly, until we got a phone call. We've since rectified that. Most notices are generally on our projects in Florida sent to my office directly. So we apologize for that. I'm really not going to give you a full presentation because I'll just be repeating what Elizabeth said. But suffice to say that we've owned this property for about a decade. Vandalism and graffiti has been a problem from day one. However, we used to have to do something every 2 or 3 months. But over the last couple of years, it's really become every 2 or 3 weeks. We're constantly there, and if we miss it by a week, we either get a phone call from Lofton Phase 1, because now, unlike previously, we have 400 people living literally across the street. I think it's one of the few things that I've ever done where everybody in the area will be very pleased about the removal of those 2 buildings. So we would appreciate your support in that, and I'm here to answer any questions you have. Thanks.
Assuming you're okay with the conditions from staff?
We are okay with that. In fact, we intend to remove the parking as well and be done with it.
Does anyone have any questions for the applicant right now?
Actually, Mr. Salor, that was my question. I wanted to make sure the ambiguity of the parking was kind of vetted out, and you saying that you're going to remove the parking, I
Yes.
think is the best option.
Definitely.
Just everything off, sod the thing, and just keep the grass cut.
Absolutely right. We intended to do that anyway, I think.
I'm in full support of this application.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any comments from anyone in the audience on this case? Seeing none, we'll close the open discussion. Any other questions for staff? Okay, seems fairly straightforward, and it seems like it would be a benefit to the property neighborhood, so I too would be in favor of this. Anyone like to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion second.
Second?
Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Have to read it in.
Just
Oh.
for clarification that it includes all of staff's conditions.
Yes, it does. Any other? Okay, thank you for reminding me of that. Good, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Okay. Wow, that's it. So, look at that. I think this might be the quickest meeting ever, unless someone wants to drag it out with new business or other business. Anything? Okay, well, seeing that. Rick, you got something for us?
Sure, Rick Green, Development Services Director. I'll probably be sending out a notice today. Our next developer outreach meeting is scheduled for April 11th at 8:30 a.m. for those of you who like to attend. It'll be in this room, the chambers. For those of you who have not attended, we do a periodic update and go through everything that's happening in our department, in our city with regard to projects and the like. So we're going to schedule that for April 11th here.
Okay, thanks. Just one quick question. So, speaking of graffiti, what is the punishment if someone's caught vandalizing or defacing public property with graffiti? There must not be anything substantial because it continues everywhere.
I don't know, but Elizabeth, I will mention, made reference to a graffiti eradicator position. That was a position that we housed in police. About 6 months ago, we moved that position and hired a new gentleman, Alex Livier, who is now working in my code enforcement division. We bought him a new truck, and his task is simply to go through the entire city, and where he sees graffiti, as the name implies, he eradicates it. So he's got paint, he's got a whole setup, and that's his job, and he's doing a wonderful job. But you'd be surprised, we keep him busy 40 hours a week. But I really don't know what the penalty is. We certainly can look into it and
I'm
find
sure
out.
something. All right, I'm just filling time, but, okay, anything else? We can adjourn, you can all go home. Get back to work. Okay, thank you, staff, as usual, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a good day.